I try to film using like natural light a lot, so I'm in front of a window, but it's raining out. So there's not a lot of light going on, but we're gonna ignore it. Merry Christmas Eve, you guys, if you celebrate. That's when I'm hoping to have this video out by. I watched quite a few movies in 2023. Because I'm planning to make more like movie film related videos in 2024, I thought this would be a great way to end out the year. I've been wanting to make movies like my entire life. I've been making little home movies for as long as I can remember, but this year like really solidified that dream. So in honor of that, these are my top movies of 2023. Not all of them were made in 2023, these are just the ones I watched this year, but quite a few of them were made in 2023. I just scratched my face and I got so red. Also, these are, I think, in order of when I watched them, so hopefully I did that right. I think the perfect start to this list is the Barbie movie. I'm a huge fan of Greta Gerwig films. She is an incredible director, and this movie is no exception. I have kind of a hot take. I think the Barbie movie was a little overhyped. I'm sorry, I think it was just a little overhyped. That's not to say I didn't love it, I did love it, it's incredibly done. But like, people were hyping it up so much and I just had my expectations set so high. But it was still really good though, don't get me wrong. It's such a meaningful movie with such like important messages in it. I also think the cast was amazing. All of them are so iconic and they delivered such amazing performances. I also loved the music and the set and costume design. Like, it was all so original and so bright and so entertaining. I loved it. I love female directed films, female starring films, especially when they're about feminism. So even though I thought it was a little overhyped, I did love this movie. This movie I watched an unsettling amount of times this year, and that's Edgar Wright's Baby Driver. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I was about to say I could watch it on repeat and never get bored of it, but I do. I watch it on repeat and I never get bored of it. I'm not gonna talk too much about the movie here because I have a whole like series of videos planned on it. Starting off with this video right here that I made a couple weeks ago. I'm really proud of it and I think you should go check it out after this video, of course. But the video series I'm planning goes super in depth in so many different parts of the film, so many different scenes, so if you like the idea of that, if you like the sound of it, stick around. Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors of all time. He's so talented, he's so creative, and I really love the way music and sound is incorporated into everything in this movie. Like, every single time I watch it, I notice something new, and I love when movies do that. But basically, Baby Driver is about a getaway driver who is trying to keep his life of crime and his home life with his dad and his girlfriend separate. But when you're a getaway driver for like a crime boss, that's not the easiest thing to do. The soundtrack is incredible. I listen to it daily. I'm not even kidding. There's so much I want to say about this movie, but I'm not going to. We both have to wait till those videos come out. This year I was a part of a film seminar called Strong Leads, which I made a video about if you want to go watch. So one of the first movies we watched was A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night from 2014. It follows a girl who's also a vampire whose name is just the girl on her walks home alone at night. So the title is kind of self-explanatory. On one of her walks home, she meets a man named Arash, who instead of killing him like she does with most men, she actually walks him home, or pushes him home, I guess. They have a connection that the girls never really had with anyone before, and all of that leads to this one scene that's like 5 minutes straight. It's so slow, but it's so like melodramatic, and it's so beautiful, and it very quickly made its way into my favorite movie scenes of all time. The entire movie is in black and white, which I think adds so much to it. It's not like they just filmed it and they're like, oh, let's put a black and white filter on it just for fun. No, it feels so intentional. Like, it helps the movie. I love this movie so much. The characters have so much depth and all the shots and the scenes are just so beautiful. It's all around a pretty like dark and a little disturbing movie, but it is easily one of my favorites. Plus, it was also directed by a woman. The next one is another film from Strong Leads Film Seminar, and it's The Watermelon Woman. It's a mockumentary following an aspiring filmmaker named Cheryl and her friend Tamara. Cheryl works at a video store and finds a film from, I think, around the 1940s, and is absolutely blown away by this one character. So she goes to the credits after the movies and sees that this actress is only credited as the Watermelon Woman. So she goes on a hunt throughout the entire movie to find out who this woman is and to bring her the credit she deserves. I absolutely love mockumentaries. I love documentaries and I love normal movies, so like this is just the perfect mix. Whenever somebody would like stutter or mess up a line or just mess up in some way, they kept it in the final cut, which really makes it feel like a home video type documentary, and it's so cool. We went into watching it without knowing it was a mockumentary. Like, we were just like, oh, it's a documentary, awesome. And then it was revealed at the end that it's completely fake, and I was heartbroken. I was so sad because I was totally convinced. I was like, this is the coolest documentary I've ever seen, and it wasn't real. Okay, this next one was the last one we watched in Strong Leads, and it's Thelma and Louise. The point of Strong Leads is to watch movies that were directed by women, and this was directed by Ridley Scott, who's a great director, but he's not a woman. It was written by a woman though, Miss Callie Corey, who we actually got to meet after we watched it, which is the coolest thing ever. Thelma and Louise instantly became one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I came home and it went straight in my Letterboxd top 4. I love movies that feature women, especially ones that are a little quirky, I guess you could call them. The movie is about two women, Thelma and Louise, I just hit my finger, who go on this road trip together to try to escape their day-to-day lives and to escape Thelma's awful husband. Hate him. He's funny, but I hate him. That fun drive they had planned quickly turned into like them driving for their lives, I guess, after Louise kills a man in a parking lot. They travel all over the place while like deepening their friendship and learning more about themselves, and it's so good. It's really like a social commentary on things like feminism and domestic violence, but they have that commentary in such like an entertaining way. It's very beautiful and it's very bold, and I just love it so much. This next one is a documentary, and I watched dozens of documentaries this year. I love documentaries so much. And this one was made in 2011, and it's called There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane. It's a true crime documentary, and it's about the 2009 Taconic State Parkway crash. I think it's how you say it. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. It seems like an easy word to pronounce, but when you say it, it just sounds difficult. That crash involved the deaths of Diane Schuler, her daughter, her two nieces, and the three men in the other car that they hit. Diane Schuler was rumored to be an alcoholic and hiding it from her family, and that was one of the main reasons for the crash, but most of her family doesn't believe it because she was hiding it. They are fully convinced it was some like medical anomaly and that she was not drinking. At one part in the documentary, there's this really shaky close-up of, I think it's Diane's sister-in-law. She's smoking a cigarette and she looks in the camera and she's like, nobody in my family knows I smoke. And that, I literally, stop, I just got chills. I literally get chills anytime I think about it because like, y'all didn't know Diane drank and she did. Nobody knows you smoke, but you do. Like, it, literally, I don't think you'd see them, but I have goosebumps. This documentary is gut-wrenching. It's so heartbreaking, but it's so incredibly done. So if you're into documentaries, if you're into true crime, I definitely recommend you watch it. I went to another seminar on Miyazaki, and we watched My Neighbor Totoro after, and it was so much fun. That entire seminar like immediately put him on the list with my other favorite directors. This movie is such a classic. It's so good. It has a really like gentle and heartwarming storyline. It keeps your attention throughout the movie, but it's not enough to like stress you out. There's an airplane. I think the love shown in this movie is so bright and it's so obvious. And I feel like a lot of movies don't really show like a softer and like a gentle father figure, but this movie definitely does. It's so refreshing to see that, you know? I love it. The whole family dynamic in this movie, most of the dynamics are just so healthy, and it's just such a refreshing movie. Like, you don't see stuff like that. With classic characters and the most beautiful shots I've ever seen, this easily is one of my favorite movies. And lastly, I don't know how I went my whole life without seeing this movie all the way through. Like, I've seen clips of it on YouTube and stuff, but I finally sat down and watched the whole thing, and that movie is Call Me By Your Name. Oh my gosh. I've been hearing incredible things about that movie for years and years and years, and now that I've seen it, I don't know how I went my whole life without watching it. The cinematography is insane. Oh my gosh. You can tell I'm reading my script off my phone. I just kind of exposed myself. Like, the color scheme, the way shots are framed, just everything about it is so beautiful. I love the location. It was so pretty. I love the outfits. They just are... I need to start making videos about this movie too because it's so good. The music is amazing too. I cannot listen to the soundtrack without getting emotional, and I'm not even mad about it. I hope it makes me emotional until the day I die. I'm not like a huge Timothée Chalamet fan. Don't get me wrong, he's incredible. He's an incredible actor. I'm just, you know, I'm not like a Timothy girl, you know? But this performance, insane. So good. On Letterboxd, I rated this 4.5 stars. I took half a star off because I hate Oliver. There isn't a single scene in the entire movie where I was like, oh, I like him as a character. No, I hate him. He's terrible. He's just fundamentally unlikable for me, and I can't stand him. Sorry, I guess. And those were my favorite movies of 2023. I watched a lot more. These are some of my other favorites. If you want a more in-depth video on any of the movies I talked about, of any of the movies I just showed, or if you have any movie recommendations or movies you want to see me make a video about that I haven't talked about, tell me in the comments below, dude. I would love recommendations on movies to make videos on. If you celebrate, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. If you don't, just Happy Holidays. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys stick around for more movie-related videos in the future.